Hello everyone, this is the Tech Master, and I am once again back for a new video. This time will be the third part in my gaming PC upgrade, and that's the first time in quite some time that I get to make 3 videos in a year. Wow, well that's certainly not impressive when it sounds like that. But anyway, what we're gonna do in this episode is basically this wasn't exactly according to plan. What I was planning to do is basically well, you'll see basically what I was planning to do later. But what I am going to do actually is I purchased more storage. Basically, I'm doubling my storage, doubling my SSD, doubling my hard drive. Now, the reason why I'm doubling my SSD is because, as you know from the title already, I'm going to be installing Linux on this computer. But of course, I don't want Linux to be completely replacing my Windows operating system, because after all, I still have to use it for things like video editing and gaming to some extent. And as for the 1 terabyte, the reason why I bought it was just to that because I just didn't have enough storage left, so I just don't want to be worrying about that stuff. So whatever, basically 1 terabyte hard drive, basically pretty much the same exact drive that I have right here, just again a linear, similar illustration with my RAM. And this is a 250 gig Samsung 860 EVO. I think I have the 250 gigs 850 EVO or the 240 gigs, I'm not too sure, but it's basically the same drive, just slightly newer, I guess. But whatever, let's just put in the new components in, and after that we'll try and see whether we can install Linux on the new SSD, and let's see just how that goes. Now, before I start, I'm just going to quickly point out that this time, although I did manage to get the tripod for the camera, I forgot the battery charger, and the battery is pretty low. So we're gonna try to make this as quick as possible, and hopefully everything goes well. Now, if you remember this case, basically the way things went is that on the other side are the storage, so the SSD hard drive holder. However, we have to still unscrew this because we need to connect the SATA cables. And I have everything prepared, so since we're doubling from 2 to 4 drives, we have to connect additional 2 more cables, which I have right here. These are actually the ones that came with the new motherboard that I upgraded in the first part of this build. So let's unscrew this, and yeah, let's also, I'm interested in seeing how much dust there is in this computer. Let's see whether that's a problem. Oh wait, no, that's the wrong side of the computer. So that's the one that has the hard drive and the SSD that's hidden here, as well as the power supply, and there's going to be a new bracket here which we're going to install. That's for the SSD. Now, what I really wanted to do right now was turn this around and unscrew the other panel, and that's what I wanted to do, and I guess I just got confused in them. So whatever, as you can see, this computer is it's pretty clean. There's a little bit of dust here and nothing too grave here, a little bit here too, but so far I'm pretty satisfied with this case. It's really good. Yes, so as you can see, these are the 2 cables here that used to be in, I think these are the old motherboard cables. They're both connected here in the SATA 6 ports, and we're gonna just connect them in the other SATA ports here. We have 4 SATA 6 and 2 SATA 3. Now, I don't think it's gonna matter much, but might as well plug it in the 6th one, just why not? So what we need to do is, you can see I'm going to not do that, hopefully. And now all we gotta do is plug both cables. One goes which way it goes? Like this, and same with the second one. Both go this way. You can see the cable is over here, and I'm just gonna have it to go through there, and there we go. gonna push that on the other side, and let's turn the computer around now. Alright, here are the two cables. Now here's what we have to do here. Basically, first thing we have to do is remove the bottom plate here. And I'm not sure if you can see this well, but before we do that, we have to unplug the two cables here. And now we can pull out this bracket with the SSD. Now basically what we're doing is we're removing this, and we're putting in new screws for the new hard drive. So let's do that first. Now see, this is pretty simple. I just need to unscrew that. Alright, so it was a bit difficult, so now obviously we're gonna open the new drive, and should be careful with this. Okay, so we pull this, and the new drive, here's the new drive, the 1 terabyte WD Blue, pretty much the same drive, just the label is a little different, a little newer. After all, this one is 3 years newer than the other one. And now, if I remember correctly, what we need to do is simply attach it this way, since the tabs here are going to go that way. The connectors are going to go this. So all we're going to do now is screw in through these rubber pads, which I think are to stop vibrations and stuff like that. So yeah, let's try to do that. Alright, I screwed it in off camera because, you know, it's kind of dangerous with a pretty fragile hard drive. I don't want to drop it or anything like that. There we go, just like that. All we're gonna do now is connect the two, the SATA cable first of all, which is over here, and the and here we go. Just need to pull it in. It's gonna click in, and it's flawless. As you can see, there's the two drives here. They're both connected. Everything's good. Now let's shift over to the SSD. Alright, so here's the new SSD, the 860 EVO, as I said. And we have a seal here that I never opened this, so we kind of cut this on camera. There we go. Inside the box we got an instruction manual and of course the SSD itself. There we go. Now comparing this to my other SSD, as you can see there's almost no difference here. I think the font is slightly different, but the thing that strikes me the most is that this is much heavier, considerably. This feels like a lightweight, but as you can see, this is 860, this is 850, and both of these are 250 gigs. So again, this one is also newer, so it's probably gonna last maybe a couple of years at most, longer, but whatever. Let's just set up the new the SSD plate, which I'm not sure if you remember, but it's basically this thing, which is gonna line up like this, and we're gonna screw it in. But before we do that, we have to actually screw the SSDs from this side. So yeah, I'm gonna try and do that. Alright, so I put the two SSD here. They're split apart just so that it looks fairly nice here. Plus you can see the actual logo, which doesn't really matter since it's inside a case, but whatever. I only screwed in 2 of each screw, so we're gonna do the rest on camera this time. Well, I'm gonna try at least. There we go. This is finally put in place properly. Now we can do the easy part, which is simply putting this like this. You can see that it lines up here perfectly, and now we can just screw in this little bracket here with a thumb screw. So as you can see, looks absolutely flawless, except this little cable. It's kind of annoying, but we could just move it out of the way. And now let's actually connect everything. Alright, so I did a couple things. First of all, I rearranged the cables here in the back, I mean, because as it turns out these cables are pretty short and it's kind of inconvenient when they're in an L angle here. And I also connect the power supply cable. That's a little pretty difficult to do on camera because what the thing is, the one that's already in here only has three connectors, and even then they're the cable's too short to connect everything. So yeah, I had to connect another one, which I actually used to use back when I had my previous case, which was kind of awful in that regard. So whatever, let's just plug everything in. This is my original SSD. Goes in here. There we go. As for the power supply cable, I have no idea which way it's supposed to go. Okay, like this. Oh wow, that is certainly not easy, I guess. Alright, so yeah, definitely could have been much better when it comes to cables and stuff like that. But I did my absolute best here. Hopefully this won't cause any issues with the rest of the case. And yeah, so let's try just closing it. Everything appears to be connected. Everything here as well. So yeah, and my battery's running out of camera, so hopefully we can wrap this up soon. Alright, so I put everything back in together. Now we'll power this on and see if everything works fine. So here we go. So alright, it powers on at least. Now let's spam the delete key until something shows up. Alright, by the way, forgot to mention, but I have a new mechanical keyboard now. Pretty cool. Alright, but let's not get too off topic here. What I just wanted to see was whether all the drives are in fact detected. Let's see. Alright, so we got the two 1 terabyte drives and the two 250 gigs SSDs. So you can see the WC, they're both 1000.2 gigabyte, and these are detected as the 860 and the 850. So everything's perfect. Now, of course, we're gonna just we'll just reboot and deal with it with Windows first. And yeah. Well, okay then, so as it turns out, the battery of this camera is even worse than I expected. Even though I did everything I could to make sure that it would survive that, it didn't even manage to get to the Linux installation yet. So, okay, that sucks. Well, in the meantime, since I wanted to show you what I'm doing on Windows anyway, I'm just going to do a screen capture here with the disk. As you can see, we have disk 1, disk 2, disk 3, disk 4. So disk 1 is the new one, disk 3 is the new SSD. Basically what we're doing here is just going to create a partition label. I'm not sure what I'm going to name it just yet. I'm just going to call it something like archive for now. Primary, but then we're going to do is as exFAT. And drive letter, to W, and everything else, nothing too special. As for this 3, we're not even going to touch that for now. It's going to get formatted anyway. But what we could do is later on we could do like a surface test just to see that everything is working perfectly. So yeah, let's do that Now if I open my PC, as you can see, we have a new drive now, which is formatted on exFAT, and it's completely empty. As you can see, storage here is 86 gigabytes free, so that's kind of the reason why I got the new hard drive, just because I keep worrying about storage running out. So yeah. Now as for what we're gonna do now, I'm probably going to have to install Linux, and I'll try. I'll still try recording with like my phone in the meantime. The installation, hopefully it will be possible. So alright, let's try doing that. How about we do that? Alright, so I'm gonna do pretty much what I said I would do, which is use my phone camera. Kind of disappointing, but I guess we're gonna try this. This is actually a new phone. This is a Moto E5, and it was pretty cheap, 150 Canadian dollars. But whatever. Again, I'm not gonna get off topic here. The point is, the camera battery died, as I said. So now, what we're gonna do is we're going to install Linux. Now, what I have here is a USB drive. Well, it isn't a USB drive. You would be fooled to think it is. But if you look on the back, there's actually a micro SD slot. This is actually something I got when I bought a Raspberry Pi earlier this year, I think it was. And I just put the Linux install on this micro SD card, since I have space for it, so I might as well do that. What we're going to do is just plug this in, power this on, and try to boot from it. Let's try doing that. Alright, so it took a little while here to set up, but as you can see, I have now the Linux system that I want to install ready. And as you can see, that is KDE Neon, actually. Now, the reason why I specifically decided on KDE Neon was because I really wanted like a stable Ubuntu LTS or LTE, I don't even remember, 18.04 base, but like I didn't like, I thought that Kubuntu was too bloated, and just generally speaking, I kind of wanted KDE because as my desktop environment. So I figured that KDE Neon would be the best because it's a very minimal. There's no bloat. So okay, whatever. Keyboard here. Now it does detect my Wi-Fi here, which is a relief. Maybe it means that I won't have to. Yeah. So as it seems, the wireless works. So hopefully it means that every driver will be installed seamlessly. Download updates. Third-party software, yes. Secure boot, I don't need secure boot. And now it's gonna do this setup. I need to be sure to select the proper drive. Alright, so now it's asking for the disk setup. I'm gonna have to make sure, absolutely sure, that it does the proper disk. So I'm gonna do manual here. And now it's gonna see which drives here. As you can see, I have, let's just see which one it is. Dev SDA has 1 million megabytes, 1 terabyte. That's the drive we just format anything. SDB is the 1 terabyte. Is that also the 1 terabyte drive? I don't even know. Yeah, that's the second 1 terabyte drive. This one is oh, hang on. SDD is the SSD. SDF is the external drive, and okay, so that's confusing. But SDC is what we need. But wait a second. Yeah, free space. Okay, so new partition table. SDC. That's correct. Free space. Now here's what we're gonna do. So partition maximum, ext4, mount point, root, I think. Alright, So SDB again, SDC, that's the one we need, right? And the bootloader SDC, again, very important. I could probably install it on SDD, which is the one I have right now, but whatever. SD, we need to, so SDC1 and the bootloader SDC, right? That's correct. Okay, let's do that. Alright. Alright, let's go. Alright, so now it's actually installed. Now we can do the basic stuff. Time zone, yep, Toronto time, I guess. That's close enough. And yeah, it is pretty late right now. So continue. User info. I'm just gonna put in my name. Username, I'm pretty sure, and okay, well then. Alright, so since this thing barely works, apparently, I decided I have to wait the DVD and install it through DVD, even though it's much slower. Hopefully it works out this time. So I have it started again here. Continue. As you can see, it's going to be slower. English US. Gotta enter my password. One-handed is pretty difficult. Connect. I think I need that. There we go. You can see it says here that it's connected. Well, if it will actually decide to focus or not, I don't know. But, alright, so here what we're gonna do is download updates, install third party, and not configure secure boot, and then we're just gonna wait here because it takes some time apparently. So yeah. Alright, that's done finally. Again, we're gonna go manual because it automatically selects the external backup drive, which we obviously don't want to use. So again, I think it's SDC. As you can see, it's already detected here. So ext4. Obviously format, I think. Oh, I guess that, wait, no. I guess that's just automatic. Alright, so SDC1 and the bootloader has to be on SDC. So, yeah, I think that's correct. There we go. Oh, hang on. Right, hopefully now it actually works. So install now. SDC. Yes. Bootloader SDC. Please don't screw up this time. I hope to God that it doesn't screw up again this time, because now I wasted a perfectly good DVD on it. So time zone, that's perfectly fine. Please don't fail. Alright, as you can see, putting username here. I just want to check here that I'm pretty sure that I can't put upper scale, but I don't know, maybe it'll tell me if it's wrong. So and here we're gonna do alright, that's it. Okay, yes, so it has to be a lower scale. So far it's installing fine. Hopefully I'm not gonna screw it up. And there we go, now it's on the installation screen. Now I just have to wait. Hopefully it works this time. Right, so it says it hasn't finished, so now we can restart. And hopefully everything works just as well as it should. It says to remove the installation video, which basically means putting the disk away. And now we can press enter. But before that, we also have to configure this to actually boot into the new drive. I'm not going to do that right away. I'm going to temporarily make it boot in the new drive. Then I'm going to try to see whether I can use something like grub in order to make sure that I can easily switch between the two drives. So boot option, actually have here Neon P2, and okay, so it automatically sets settings, and okay, so this is pretty complicated, but hopefully now it works. As you can see, it's booting in, and there we go. Now I just need to figure everything out, and hopefully I can manage to get things working better. Alright then, so as I am recording this, it's been over a week since the last footage you saw, and in that time I actually had to reinstall the system a grand total of 2 times. So that's 3 times in total if you include the every install. So yeah, in fact, and also if you're wondering why the background changed, that's because in the time that it took me to record this, there was a new update to the system, so that changed the wallpaper. So okay, now I'm going to show you everything that I have done. Right now, as you can see, this is fully customized and everything. Not fully done yet. However, I'm going to show you my new dual boot setup, which is what I was planning to do for the first time. So here I can just do this, reboot, and now it's going to restart. I'm going to show you how everything works. Here I'm just holding one of the buttons here, and there we go. Now if I don't hold one of the buttons, basically I made it so that it will boot automatically into the latest drive. So with that, the advantage here, there are a lot of things that are good about this. The first is that I can access the UEFI BIOS thingy easily without having to, because the thing is, my keyboard isn't detected due to the fast boot thing, so it's annoying to get the UEFI setting. Other than that, I can also launch memtest, which is a memory testing thing, and of course I can launch either Windows or my Canadian installation for Linux. Let's launch the Windows just now. As you can see, it works perfectly fine. The resolution was a little weird, and also the time is properly, because right now it is in fact 12 a.m. So I used to have the issue since Linux was on UTC, but this was in local time. I changed Linux to UTC. So alright, so as you can see, we have booted back into Windows. Right now I have Sony Vegas open, so I'm gonna start video editing this video. So yeah, as you can see, the dual boot setup works flawlessly, and everything has been configured. I still have to set up a lot of things, and also for the moment I'm probably gonna end up still using Windows more because there's like a project I'm working on which requires Windows at the moment. So until that's done, I guess I have no choice but to use it for I think 1 month more at most. I don't think it's going to take more time. Anyway, I think I'm going to have to end this video. Now, as you may notice, I already mentioned it last time, that right now I'm recording off my phone because the camera ran out of battery, and since then I already gave back the camera, so whatever. If I'm going to judge at the end of me finishing the video editing of this thing, I'm going to compare the footage and see whether the footage from the phone is acceptable, because I'm thinking of just using that as as my main camera, because constantly having to deal with borrowing someone else's camera is not convenient in the slightest. And if that's gonna happen, then I imagine that you're gonna be able to see more videos more often, because I'm gonna be more motivated to actually record. And it's a situation that I've been for many years now. So yeah, anyway, I think that's it for this video. Thanks for watching as usual, and I hope to see you again soon in another video, and hopefully I can't make any promises. Hopefully it's going to be soon. And of course I also have ideas to experiment with a few other types of videos, but whatever. Whatever I'm gonna end up doing, that's what I'm gonna do. Other than that, this is the computer right now. Everything was working perfectly, and I'll see you next time.